Hey guys, welcome to episode 4. And today we are at, I'm guessing, Estonia's most famous bog called Viru Bog, which is visited by a lot of people and most of tourists that come to Estonia, I guess. So let's go and see what we can find. So, Viru Bog, the most famous bog in Estonia and the most visited bog in Estonia. And usually there's like a ton of people here, but as it has been raining and storming for the last couple of days, and it's Tuesday? No, Wednesday? It's a Wednesday today. So it's pretty quiet. There was only a couple of cars in the parking lot, so we hope we have the bog to ourselves today. So let's see what we can find, and let's talk how and what to shoot in a bog. And this is the most photographed tree in Viru Bog and in Estonia, I'm guessing, at the moment. As I'm in a bog also this week, as I was last week. Last week I was at Kakerä, this week at Viru Bog. But hopefully today is going to be better. We have some clouds, we have sun somewhere over there. And hopefully it will be nice. And the best thing is we don't have any wind at the moment. So we probably will have some cool reflections of the colors and clouds and stuff like that. As it has been really quiet for the last 15 minutes, I think I found my first image. Imre is somewhere there, looking for another composition. And let's talk about what I found. As it has been really stormy for the last month in Estonia, I really wanted to find an image that had some reflection, water, nice colors and clouds in it. And as the plan, last week went to, or just didn't work, then this week I think we will have success, because as you can see it is really quiet, there's almost no wind, and I'm really hopeful that we will have some really nice colors from the sun before the sunset. But about this image, I found this nice curve leading the eye to the reflective trees, and there were some really nice clouds behind that. So it's really simple, and in the sense we have a triangle composition. We have the small tree in the foreground, then we have a little moss island on the left side in the middle of the screen, and then we have the reflective strip of trees on the right side of the upper right side of the screen. So I'm at f11 1/5 of a second at ISO 64, and I'm using a Lee polarizing filter with the Lee filter Holden system to take off some of the glare from the grass and make the sky a bit darker around the clouds. I did 2 different compositions of this image. I did one in landscape orientation and one in portrait. When I arrive home, then I will look them over and show you my favorite one. The thing with bogs is that they are absolutely amazingly beautiful places. And during the summertime you can go to swim there in bog lakes, but they can be really hard to photograph. And the reason is kind of really simple and stupid at the same time. But when you have big trees and mountains or hills or something to fill the background, it's a lot easier to compose a landscape image. But in a bog, all the trees are like 6-7 meters tall maximum, and if you don't have a background interest, it's the picture almost always kind of falls flat. You can use a really wide angle lens and point it basically to the ground, and the background image will be the trees on the other side of the bog lake, but those pictures for me are a bit too distorted. That's why I usually come to bogs when there's clouds, and clouds basically fill the void where there are no background interests. If you want, you can imagine your clouds to be hills and trees and mountains and whatnot, but it balances out the composition and makes the image whole. I'll show you some images, for example, that you can see what does an image look without the background interest and with a background interest. It's a night and day difference. The cool thing about the Estonian bogs is that a lot of bogs have bird watchtower or just watchtowers and things like that, and they give a lot better perspective on the bog itself. So they are the photographer's best friend if you don't have a drone. I don't have one because I sank my drone in the sea a couple of years ago, so at the moment I'm gonna have to make do with towers. We didn't find anything from the tower, but found something when we left the tower. So this is probably the last image of the evening, as the sun has already set, but there are really nice pinkish blue colors in the sky. So usually I don't like to put interest in the middle of the image, but in this case I will make an exception. The reflection is really cool and it kind of just works, so sometimes just go with your gut. In short, if nothing else works, try symmetry. When you have really glass-like mirrory lakes or rivers or stuff like that, and it works surprisingly often. It's not the classical rule of thirds or Fibonacci or anything like that, but it's pleasing and it's balanced. So I'm at ISO 64, the shutter speed is 1/3 of a second, and I'm at f9. So the main takeaway from today's video from me is, if you're going or coming to Estonia and planning to photograph a bog, then just look at the weather maps and be sure that you have some clouds, because without those your image can really quickly fall apart. It may not if you're lucky, but usually it's a lot more interesting when you have a bit of color and a bit of emotion in the sky. So thanks for watching and see you next time.